Hey, good morning. Hey, it's Monday morning. It's, I believe, September the 13th. And anyway, I hope that you had a great weekend, and hope God was able to bless you through hopefully being in church and maybe just whatever you were able to do this weekend. This morning, I want to bring a devotional to you. I want uh, ask you a question. What is life's greatest investment? The verses that I want to share with you this morning, and I'm not going to read all of it, but in Acts chapter 9, particularly verses 10 through 18, of course, this is in the first part of this chapter, is when Saul met Jesus on the road to Damascus, and he was blinded by the bright light, and Jesus confronted him, and so he was and he was taken to a house. And anyway, I'll pick up in verse 10. It says, there was a disciple in Damascus named Ananias, and the Lord said to him in a vision, Ananias, here. And Ananias said, here I am. And it goes on to say, the angel said, get up and go to the street called Straight. The Lord said to him, to the house of Judas, and ask for a man named Tarsus, named Saul, since he is praying there in a vision. He has seen a man named Ananias coming in and placing his hands on him so that he may regain his sight. And first off, Ananias said, hey, this Saul that you want me to go find and see, he's persecuting the church. He's throwing people in prison and everything, and you want me to go see him? And of course, God said, yes, I want you to go see him. And so Ananias was obedient. He went to Saul, the story goes, and he placed his hands, and the scales that were blinding, Saul's eyes were removed, and he was able to see, and then Saul was baptized. He was already saved, but he'd already changed, but then he was baptized. And anyway, great story. But let me ask, what's the most worthwhile investment a person can make? Listen, it's not a retirement account. It's not a lucrative career. It's not a big fancy house. Though those things are not bad in and of themselves. Listen, there's no better way to invest time, energy, or resources, than to, help someone, come to a saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. When we, if you're a Christian, when you remember when you first trusted in your Savior, God, He transferred us from the realm of darkness into the kingdom of His Son. And so as a result, we became an instrument in God's hands, we were useful for reaching out for others for Christ. You see, when others turn from sin and they receive, the Lord's salvation, there's their eternal destiny is altered. I mean, and not only that, but you see, Satan also receives a devastating blow, because all his plans for those individuals were ruined. And as each new believer, begins to live in God's will, there's no telling how far the Lord will extend His kingdom through them. And then besides that, whenever you tell someone about the Savior, when you tell somebody about Jesus, listen, you're carrying out the Great Commission, that talks about in Matthew chapter 28, verses 19 and 20. See, this gigantic task is accomplished one person at a time, as we do our part to share the gospel. And that's what we're supposed to do as believers in Jesus. We're to share that same love that has saved us with others. Listen, God, it boils down to this. Listen, it's so simple. God's plan for enlarging His kingdom, like I said, it's simple. It's one person telling another about Jesus. And that's what it's all about. I mean, just think about being in heaven and maybe seeing someone maybe that you introduced, to Jesus. Because that's all we can do, is introduce people to Jesus, and then Jesus saves them. We can't save them. But your joy will far exceed any discomfort that you may have felt in sharing the gospel. And that's what I'm excited about this morning. we're having revival at First Baptist Church Hydro. It started yesterday morning. And we had a tremendous day. We didn't have any decisions, but I truly believe that the seed is being planted in people's hearts. And besides that, revival is for reviving the church. It's for Christians to be revived. The church has to be revived first sometimes before it can then hopefully explode and go out and share the love of Christ with others. We need to have that renewed sense in our hearts. And so I'm excited this morning because, I believe God has touched my heart, in a way that needed to be touched. And so I hope this encourages you this morning. I hope you'll come and be a part of us. We're trying to live stream our services, and we're getting through some difficulties. We have a new system, and so bear with us. And hopefully, if you can't come, you can join us online. Anyway, we're serving a meal at 6 o'clock every evening, and our service starts at 7 o'clock. But anyway, if you can, come and be a part of us. But anyway, I hope you have a great day. Remember, Angie and I love you guys, and we're certainly praying for you. And anyway, Lord willing, we'll see you soon. God bless you.